Good morning, this is Pratap Singh Gaikwad and welcome to the Buggykhana Gwalior edition. This morning we're at the iconic Jai Vilas Palace where I'm about to hand over the Mazda Miata to my sister. So follow me for this very special delivery.
She's looking amazing.
So what do you think?
Amazing.
So there are a couple of very anxious people who are waiting for this reaction and we're going to have to show it to them on tape as well. So I really do hope you like it.
I love it. The color is also so beautiful.
So let me tell you what we've done to her. The obvious one is the paint. So this is a classic Mazda Miata red. So we went for the slightly darker blood red color as you had selected.
Got the calipers to match as well.
Yeah. So the brake calipers are matching. We've also changed the rims and the tires. So you've got brand new set of tires. So you're all set for the monsoon. New rims, so you know everything is safe. In the interior part, we have given you a brand new music system and the AC wasn't working, so now we've redone the whole air conditioning. Everything else is being checked once over. On the mechanical side, they've also, what you can't see, but they've done a lot of work on the suspensions, on the brakes. They've retuned the engine. She's now ready to go. So I've got one more little surprise to show you.
Okay.
You know, they say the inner beauty is more important, so.
Oh my God.
So this is the jewel in the crown.
It's amazing.
Nice. You see the amount of detailing. They've painted this in order to match the body color. They've steam cleaned everything. They've sort of brought it back to life. You know, even the rubbers, they'd hardened some of them, so those were changed. Some of them had really faded away, so you know, by steaming and polishing, the dark black color has also come out. Good. It only leaves us with one more thing. Do you want to take it for a drive?
I'd love to. Thank
Okay.
you.
Good. Let's go. Okay, hold on a second actually. I have an idea. We can't go for a drive like this. Let's take the top off.
I think that'll be amazing.
Yeah? So let's do that.
Let's do that. Are you ready?
Let's go. So she's back cruising. So while we're driving, I have a few questions that I'm sure my viewers would be interested in. So let's start from the beginning. What happened when you first got this car? What's the story behind that?
I think my husband pretty much knew how fond of cars we all are and we were. For him to think of the most appropriate gift was only a car, I think, at that point. And he had sort of scoured all of India to look for the right one. So when he found this, he bought it for me immediately for my 21st birthday. And I think he was quite proud of himself because he finally understood that that's really what I was looking forward to. And I've had it since then.
And how did he give it to you? Was it like a surprise?
So we had a small dinner at home in Delhi. He asked me to wait outside and he drove it in. So very similar to how you did it today. So both times have been very exciting.
Yeah, so you've had this now for many, many years. So where did you do the maximum driving? Where have you used her the most?
I think on the road, I've used her the most in Bombay. Of course, when I moved to Delhi, it didn't make sense for me to keep her in Delhi because I don't really drive there. But I've really enjoyed also driving her in Gwalior. For me, I think some of the best memories of this car are teaching the children how to drive. So both the children have learned how to drive in this car itself.
Right.
And on these roads.
So were there any driving incidents that took place?
We've had quite a few, but fortunately they've been within the palace walls. So we've been able to keep it between me and the children.
What are the things that you like the most about this car?
I love the size.
Yeah.
Even though she's tiny, she looks quite mean.
Nice. Lovely. This is what the car was meant to do.
That's what she keeps doing over here.
So you're going to keep this car mainly in Gwalior now. So what is she going to be used for and how often are you going to use her?
So I use her every day, going to school and to the museum. Of course, when the kids are here, they love to take her out for a spin as well.
Right.
And she does get far more used here.
And when was the last time that you had used her before, we...
It's been quite a while because unfortunately the AC wasn't working, the music system wasn't working, and for me to have music in this car is one of the things I love the most.
So both those things have been properly upgraded, thoroughly done?
Yes, which is, as you can see in Gwalior, very much required.
Yeah, especially this time of the year. Now that you're driving her for the first time after the restoration,
as I said, I mean, having the music system and the AC on, for me, that was quite critical. Also, the brakes weren't working very well.
Right.
So being able to change the brakes, I mean, to know I can drive it without issues, I think that's really, really nice. And she's driving a lot smoother than she did before. The steering is also much lighter than it used to be.
Right.
So that also makes for more.
Yeah, so it's much more usable now.
Far more.
And she's also very reliable, so she's not going to break down on you or anything. You can go. Now there are obviously two very anxious guys in Bombay, Lalit Jogani, who did the paint, and the other one is Ranjit, who worked on the mechanicals. Firstly, on the paint,
I think that was the one thing that I was quite worried about, and because I'm not generally a person who likes a red car. Even though I've had it for a while, I love the car and it wasn't necessary that I liked the color as much.
Right.
But when you convince me to stick to the color that it should be, and the new paint job has been put on, the red is much deeper than it used to be.
Yeah.
Which actually makes the car look really beautiful.
Yeah. So we went for that classic Miata red because we wanted to sort of be as close to what the car was when she was manufactured. So we wanted to go back to those heritage colors. That's why we went with the red.
No, and I can see it's not only just cleaning and repairs. What they've really been able to do is the conservation.
Yeah.
By going back to the original colors, and even I think you check the date of the car and what it could have possibly been painted at the time.
Yeah.
So I think there was a lot of sort of research done to really create and bring back the car to what it should be and would have been when it was manufactured.
So there's a lot of research normally which is done when you go through the restoration process. you check all the numbers on the car and you try and get to what the original specifications were. And the aim is always to try and come back to the original spec. And I think I think the team has been quite successful in sort of being able to do that.
Also,
So-
I think the team loves what they do. They
Yeah.
do it quite passionately. I mean, that's really coming through in how the car's looking and how she's feeling as well. It's not just restoration, it's been done with a lot of love and attention.
So how many peacocks are there? Because I'm seeing so many, they're all over the place.
So Jai Vilas is basically its own biosphere.
Right.
We grow a lot of our own foods, we cultivate a lot of the land for the generation of food and the generation of an ecosystem and a green zone for Gwalior as well. So there's always been this idea that it needs to be as lush as we can make it, even
Right.
though there are parts that have been developed for agriculture.
But
So-
what are the peacock numbers, do you think? They'll
So
be in the hundreds?
thousands.
Yeah,
And we have a
because it's
huge
huge.
reptile
That's
families
nice
of
to know.
families of reptiles that also live amongst us. When you drive around at this time of the year, it's also mating season for the monitor lizards.
Oh, lovely.
So sometimes you see them sort of dancing around together, and it's quite sweet.
So I love this drive because we're now driving straight towards the Jai Vilas Palace, through the driveway. I think this is an iconic drive. This is one of the highlights for me, to drive down this driveway. You can change gears.
I know.
While we were doing the restoration, there were obviously friends of mine that were aware of what we were doing. One particular friend of mine who, if you had watched our previous episode, is also known as the JDM King. So he was viewing the restoration very closely, and he's asked me to ask you if you'd be interested in selling the car to him.
I think it's worth a lot more to me than he can afford.
So I guess the answer is no?
Is no.
Sorry, Joey. The car remains in Gwalior.
But I'm happy to take you for a drive anytime you come to Gwalior.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to drop you off at the hotel, Dada,
Yeah.
and then take the car to the fort and
Oh,
see
okay.
what she's really made of.
Okay. Okay, have fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode with my sister. I'll see you on the next drive.